my name is Michael. I'm a founder of 3 different companies inside audio. In 2001 I founded Rido. I left Rido 3 years ago, but today I have 3 other companies, AVIC, Ansys and Børresen, where Ansys is cables, accessories, AVIC is amplifiers, electronics, and Børresen is speakers. The Børresen speakers is about 1 year old. We have, as of now, 3 different models. We have the stand mount, which is here, and this is the O2, and then we have the O3, and then we have top of the range, which is a O5. O5 has 4 8-inch woofers and 2 5-inch mid-range and a tweeter, so it's a pretty much a full-scale, full-range product. If you have a driver, if you're a manufacturer of drivers, you care about how much power can they handle, how robust is it, do I have any return rate, and secondary you care about sound quality. So if you want to make something that is really good for sound quality, you have to design your own things. And also drivers, loudspeaker drivers has not changed a whole lot in 100 years. But today, with today's materials, you can do so much better and you can change the structure completely. This is what we have done in this driver. We have taken iron away from the driver. So in this driver there's absolutely no iron pieces. And iron is very good for conducting magnetic flux, for working with the voice coil, because the inductive element of the voice coil is greatly enhanced by inducing iron or introducing iron into the voice coil. So when the cone is moving and when it's moving out, you get less iron inside the voice coil, and when the voice coil is moving in, or the membrane is moving in with the voice coil, you get more. And this changing amount of iron with position in the speaker creates also a change in parameters with position. And this type of distortion is overlaying the music, iron distortion. It's completely eliminated by making this magnet system without the iron. But making a magnet system without iron is far more costly because you need 4 neodymium magnets instead of 1. So from a cost point of view, it's not very efficient. But from a musical performance point of view, it's very efficient. It has quite high sensitivity. So the speakers here are fairly sensitive. They are around 87 dB for 1 watt. Because of the absence of induction, this driver has only 1/10 of the induction of a normal loudspeaker driver. And because it has so low inductance, the phase shift in the bass and the resonances in the bass impedance peaks become so much smaller. So it's very easy drive, because the amplifier don't see big phase angles, big impedance variations, etc., etc. Yes, it's a completely new and a quite different design. The materials in the membrane, you could not do that 20 years ago or 10 years ago, because there was no suppliers for this kind of special materials. But today you can buy or get special materials made for you. So I had this material made in the UK in a factory that does that, and it's a laminate at a PEN film and aluminium, and it's a 5 micron thick pen film and 6 micron thick aluminium in a sandwich that is then etched with the traces. And the advantage of the pen film compared to a polyester, or what you could get 15-20 years ago, is that the pen foil is very robust in terms of temperature. So this foil can withstand temperatures up to 600 degrees centigrade, and that means that it cannot melt, it cannot destroy itself. So the robustness is very, and the material is very thin. It's so thin that this full area weighs 0.01 gram, 1/100th of a gram. So you have extremely light membrane, quite a big membrane area, and strong neodymium magnets to drive it. So you have very high sensitivity, you have extremely light weight. That means that you can get even the finest details will play through this tweeter. It's in the back, so you cannot see it here on the video. But when you design a bass port, the main problem with bass ports is always that that you have a predominant resonance and you have an airflow, and that can create a turbulence. I think in terms of liveliness and springiness and sense of presence, bass reflex systems are the best, but they can also be noisy. So having this port going with the air flowing in and out the port can sometimes be very difficult to manage, especially if you have a circular port. So we have made the port a square instead. That aids it a little bit, but then we have introduced also some vanes in the port. We have 3 vanes, and those have bars, and that makes small, when the air is flowing, small vortices inside, and that takes away the big resonance and replace that with small but higher up in the frequency band where there's no air movement. The result of that is that the small vortices or the small resonances are not triggered and the big one is taken away. So that makes the port quiet. So we have all the advantages of the reflex system, the liveliness, the springiness, the openness, and the dynamics, but without the drawback that the port resonance or the turbulence resonance in the ports is taken away. Yeah, the thing is that everything affects everything. So when you have a stand that is heavy mass and you put a speaker on it, the speaker will automatically sound heavy. So a stand needs to be light, but it needs also to have the ability to transmit the energy down to the floor. And this is why you have 2 layers of decoupling in between. So it's a fairly light stand that doesn't store energy and have this springiness to it. And then you have the decoupling going down to the floor. Once you try to play around with stand mounts or monitors on different stands, you find out that everything affects everything. And the tone of the stand is very important. And when you work with the shape, you can find a tone that is good in the stand, and that will automatically blend into your speaker. You cannot make a system, and that is electronics, that is anything, that where the cabinet or the stand or the rack doesn't affect. Everything affects. And the tone of these things will always bleed into your system. That's also why we completely avoid aluminium materials. That energy you put into the cabinet needs to go out again, and if it does that with a high Q material, it will always ring. It will go ding. Already this fall we will bring out a monitor which is less than 1/3 of this, where we have the key technology, the tweeter, and the key technology of the driver will be the same. So we will make more simple cabinets, more simple crossovers, more simple wire harness, etc., to cut down the cost so that customers can step in a bit earlier. Target right now is around $10,000 for a speaker including stand. It will be called the Z01 will be the name of the monitor. So
can't wait to see it. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.